Well, today, everybody, we're going to be keeping a tradition of mine alive in this video. We're going to be talking about the best gear as it pertains to guitar players and musicians here in 2024. I'm going to give you guys a top 10 list of what I think are the best products that came out this year. Now, my list is obviously a little bit unique as it's one man's opinion, and I have exactly that, an opinion, but also two, some of the things on my list are a little bit, specific to me, and that's just kind of like what I was exposed to throughout the year, etc. So, all that encompassing, I like to just kind of have a nice happy medium of like things that consumers bought and things that were new for this year, as well as things that I was exposed to this year and created with and traveled with and toured with and made music with, okay? And I just want to say right here, one final announcement. I've got a brand new solo album done, good to go. It will be out January 10th of 2025. It is called Humans Taste Bad. Here's the artwork. This is what it'll be. This is what it looks like. 14 tracks. Some of the tracks, a lot of the tracks have already been announced and out on some of the EPs that came out in 2024, but there are some new tracks as well, and I can't wait to share it with you all. A lot of you guys reach out and say in the comment section, hey, like your shorts, for example, you should put them in full-on feature-length songs. And a lot of you guys, I think, don't realize that I put out all of my riffs and all of my ideas that I put out, say, like in YouTube videos and shorts and stuff, I put them out on streaming services as full-on dedicated songs. So if you guys could do me a huge favor, since a lot of you guys are asking for it, if you guys could follow me on your favorite streaming service platform, follow me on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, wherever people listen to music, as well as check out the stuff that's all over my channel. Thank you so much for doing that. I really sincerely appreciate it. Again, you guys are asking, hey, where's your original music? You should do this. I've been doing it for quite some time, okay? So, brand new album, Humans Taste Bad, January 10th. Can't wait to share it with you all. Be sure to check that out when it drops, but we've got about 6 weeks, give or take, before that happens. Let's stay focused at the topic at hand, best gear of 2024. So, let's go, everybody. No honorable mentions. Let's just talk about the gear that really caught my attention this year. Number 10, the Fender American Pro 2 Limited Edition Gold and Black Hardtail Stratocaster. What, dude? I was on tour. That's going to be a common theme of this video. I was on tour when this was announced, and I was sitting in my bunk in my tour bus at the time. I was in a tour bus, and I saw this dude, and I was just like, oh my God, man. I love this guitar so much. Really, really expensive for what it is. It's got like a $300, $400 premium. However, by far the coolest Stratocaster I've seen in such a long time. And not only is it cool from a paint job standpoint, but also too, it's a hardtail. Blacked out hardware with the gold and the black, hardtail, roasted maple neck, it seems. So sick, man. Such a beautiful guitar from the American Pro 2 line. I love the American Pro lines and the Pro 2 lines. I think that's just as good, if not somewhat better at times, than the Ultra. The Ultras are cool and stuff, but they feel a little like, I don't know, they have like insane gloss and have kind of like a weird finish and feel on the necks, or like the American Pro 2s feel a little bit more natural in my opinion. So anyway, man, I love this guitar so much. Fender has really been doing cool stuff for the better part of like a half decade, but more specifically, like, I don't know, the last 3 or 4 years, they really have caught my attention and my eye with a lot of the cool stuff that they've created. And yeah, man, this limited edition hardtail Strat, definitely one of the coolest Strats I've ever seen in production, and definitely one of the coolest guitars and coolest pieces of gear of 2024. This one's going to be weird, this next one on my list, and it's not directly correlated to guitar, but it is incredibly beneficial for guitar players. Number 9 is the Mixwave Lorna Shore Austin Archie drum plugin. Now, like I said, not necessarily directly related to the instrument that is guitar. However, guitar players love to create their own music, or a lot of them do. I am one of them especially. And a lot of the music that I've created in 2024, I used this exact drum library and drum sample and plugin, whatever you want to call it, from Mixwave on my original music. I mean, take a song like Her Favorite, for example. One of my favorite tracks and one of my favorite riffs I've ever created, and I officially finished it here in 2024. That is using the Mixwave Lorna Shore plugin. The snare and the kick sound absolutely amazing, especially the snare, man. Like the rim shot snare. There's one of the different, MIDI notes you can hit, but it just hits so hard, and it cuts, and it's loud, and it's vibrant, and it's ringy, and it's you know, not CPU heavy, all the above, man. This plugin replaced actually Superior Drummer 3. I use Superior Drummer 3 ever since early 2018 up until mid 2024, and then as of 2024 I've gone away from Superior Drummer 3, and I haven't used it since like May or June of this year, whenever I got off the From Ashes to New tour. So that being said, man, it's incredibly creative, it sounds amazing, and all my original music as of late has been using this drum library. So this plugin will be heavily featured on the new album Humans Taste Bad, and yeah, hope you guys dig the album, and I hope you dig the drum tones, because it is the Mixwave drum plugin. Number 8, this one's cool, and I haven't done a video yet, and I have checked it out, but I got to get around to making a dedicated video on it. Number 8 is the STL Tones West Borland. Now, tones aside, let's just talk about what this is. There's really not many more famous guitar players than Wes Borland here in 2024. I mean, he's like at the legendary legacy status with Limp Bizkit, kind of having the resurgence ever since Lollapalooza 2021. I mean, there's really not many bigger names out there, and having the name Wes Borland tacked on to an amp sim is so sick. Now, everybody, full transparency, I did try a free trial run of this amp sim when I had give or take 10 days in between tours, but I ran out of time because I was in the midst of learning a 16-song set list, and then I had to go to bus call down in Texas. So I didn't get the opportunity to use my free trial to make a video on it. So I do have to eventually buy this amp sim, and when I do, which will be in the very near future, I will do a dedicated video on this amp sim. The high gain tones are very thick, and they're not as like metally as you would expect, but they are very thick and very, you know, obviously catering towards the style that Wes creates. But the ambience and the kind of quirkiness and kind of obscure clean tones and crunchy tones you can get with this is really creative. So take my word for it, take it with a grain of salt, but I promise you in the very near future I'll get a video out dedicated to this amp sim. But yeah, STL Tones West Borland, awesome, so sick, and I can't wait to show you guys my findings. Number 7, another plugin. It's an old favorite with a new twist, the Nameless X. Now that here we are in 2024 and the Neural DSP Quad Cortex has plugin compatibility and capability functions, whatever you want to call it, having the ability to get the Nameless X on the Quad Cortex as of like this week, give or take, the end of 2024, that is so huge, man. I've said it so many times. All you OG viewers have heard me say this. I love the Nameless Suite so much. I think it is probably my favorite amp sim of all time, man. Like, I go back and forth between like a couple, but right now it is my favorite, and all the rhythm tones on the new album coincidentally are the Nameless Suite. It's better than the Audio in my opinion. It's better than the STL Tonality Andy James. It's currently better than the Mixwave Mike Stringer in my head, just because of the uniqueness. It's like, depending on the flavor of the day, you know, the flavor of the day, depending on the day of the week is what I'm trying to say. It really depends on what I'm feeling, but for right now, I got a huge soft spot for the Nameless X, and to hear that it's going to be on my Quad Cortex, and I can play shows with the Nameless tones on my Quad Cortex whenever I tour, that's huge, man. I'm so excited for that. And yeah, really cool to see that kind of intertwined and ingrained into the Quad Cortex. So Nameless, when it came out in 2018, changed the landscape of plugins forever, and now here we are here in present day, almost in 2025. It has the ability to be used on the Quad Cortex. Let's stay in Neural DSP land. Let's go with arguably their biggest product of the year, probably their biggest product of the year, and that is the Nano Cortex. Now, I just did my video on the Nano Cortex, my own copy. If you guys want to check that out, it's on my channel. I had this thing all over the United States as my backup in case my Quad Cortex went down, so I certainly have trust in it in case I needed to play a show. Never actually did play a show with it, but I plug it into different front houses and PAs all over the country and stuff like that. Just hearing what it sounds like in a like a theater or something like that, and it sounds great, man. But having it at home, having the ability to use the Cortex app on my phone, dialing in some tones, checking out the different captures and stuff like that, it's a cool, unique product. It is not a modeler, in my opinion. It's a capturer. I said that in my own video. It's not like a mini Quad Cortex, which is what I thought it was going to be. It's like just a capture, just like a baseline thing, in my opinion, for if you want to get like your favorite capture tone on your pedal board or something like that. It's just like a great way to get the baseline, the dry, you know, whatever it is, the dry rig on your pedal board and then be able to travel with it. All right, here we go. Top 5. Let's talk about a brand new guitar for 2024. This Jackson USA Orange Soloist with a floating Floyd and EMGs. I don't really have too much to say about this guitar other than I just sincerely love the color and I love the USA Jackson line with EMG pickups. I love how Jackson's starting to continuously come out with more USA production guitars ever since like 2022, 2023, something like that, where they had like the original lineup where it was like a green, a white, a black, blue. You know, now we have another rendition of some, you know, USA guitars. We also have a made in Japan as well. So they're starting to fill in the gap between like the really expensive $4,000 or $5,000 USA custom shops and then like the imports. So we got that middle ground there, and that's competing with like Fender and Gibson and stuff like that. So it's cool, man. I actually saw one of these in person and checked it out in Hollywood when I was out there 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I think I might have the ability to get one of these on the channel and check it out. But just solely from a visual standpoint and the fact that I love EMGs and I love Jackson guitars and I love USA guitars, I think this is nothing but a great thing for the guitar community. And I felt strongly enough about it to put it on this list. It's a sharp guitar. It's really cool. And I dig it, man. Top 5. Number 4 is my Dean USA Thoroughbred guitar. Now, I did a video on this guitar and I toured with it every single night and played it every single night ever since I got it on the last Elijah tour. That was September and October. I got this guitar in, actually, my lovely lady brought it to the show in Asbury Park, New Jersey. And then I played it pretty much like 2/3 of the tour after that. Here it is. Look at this thing. This thing is so beautiful. Story with this guitar is it was built in 2021, or pardon me, it was ordered in 2021, but it took 3 years. I got it and then I played the hell out of it. I played about 30-ish shows with it, maybe 25 shows, something like that. It's already all rusted. It's all gross. It's like, it's been played already, man. And I've only had it for a couple months now, but I love it so much. I mean, silver burst, single cut, Dean guitars. It's everything I could love, man. And this guitar was actually the initial catalyst to me being on the Dean artist roster. It's not an exclusive deal or anything like that, but, you know, Dean Guitars and I, the representative and I spoke and said, you know what, we support each other. We've been supporting each other for years now, talking like 5 years. It's about time that we officially, on paper, like work together. Yeah, man, I love this thing. This was my drop C guitar all over North America. Played it in Canada, played my first shows ever in Canada with this guitar, as well as my Cerber signature. So this guitar has a lot of sentimental value to me already. It's beautiful. And yeah, man, it was just like the nice kickoff point for my announcement with working with Dean Guitars, like I said, officially as an actual touring musician. So love this thing so much, dude. Really, really cool guitar. It's beautiful. Number 3 is definitely the best piece of digital gear in my opinion, and that is the Headrush Prime that was just announced a couple weeks ago. First and foremost, I love Headrush products. I've had maybe 3 big boy Headrush pedal boards in my day, and I really sincerely appreciate what they do and how they create their tones and everything like that. I love how they were like the first company, in my opinion, to have a touchscreen on a modeler. That's huge. Like the Quad Cortex was not the first one. Headrush did it way back in like 2017. And that was like really revolutionary and groundbreaking at the time. Now to see that they're continuously getting their tones better and their own product line better, the Prime is only $500. That's really hard to compete with. And it still has a touchscreen and it still has the amazing tones from the Headrush Core, I think it was, the new one that came out, the V2 of the pedal board. So basically it's like a Headrush, you know, V2 in small form. I dig that a lot. And for $500, that is really enticing. The only thing I wish it had would be some XLR inputs and outputs. If that was in there, it would be just an absolute game changer, but it doesn't. But apart from that, man, I really sincerely want to get one of these on the channel. It's only $500. You know, in 2024, a piece of gear for $500 is really hard to come by, and I dig it. Number 2 is a guitar with, I think, the most beautiful finish I've seen on a Solar guitar. Yes, and that is the Solar, pulling up my phone here, SBR 1.6 VC Plus Vacillator Metallic Gloss. The shape-shifting blue/teal into purple. What an amazing guitar. I had the opportunity to check one of these out and have it on the channel. Bolt-on construction, roasted maple neck, the reversed, non-reversed headstock with a matching headstock. Again, the color is absolutely amazing. It had an Evertune on it, which I'm not necessarily a fan of, but it does stay in tune, obviously. I just really love the aesthetic of this guitar. I think it is probably my favorite Solar guitar of all time. It's top 3. I just love it so much, and it sounded great. It was a great piece, a great instrument, and I made a video on it. It's on the channel. But yeah, man, I really love what Solar Guitars is doing. Really proud of Ola and the team. They've just continued to push the brand into new heights and new territories, and they get bigger and bigger and better every single year. I think it's really cool, man. So congrats to Solar Guitars. Yeah, number 2, man. Really, really dig that SP 1.6 VCR, whatever it's called. I think it's a cool guitar, man. Before I unveil my number 1, I would be shocked if you guys didn't know what my number 1 was. But before I give my number 1, I have one honorable mention, and that is the orange Type X Solar guitar. Again, don't really know much about it, but I say again because I'm just going to put it on this list from a superficial standpoint. I love the way this thing looks, man. I think the Type X guitar is very Solar. It's very Dean ML style, right? But anything neon orange is such a win for me. It's like my favorite color of all time. You guys know that, you OG viewers, ever since give or take mid to early 2022. I've been obsessed with neon orange, and it's been my branding for all over my artwork and all over my albums and stuff like that. So yeah, Type X, neon orange. What's there not to like about it, right? But everybody, come on. Do we really have any sort of doubt as to what my number 1 piece of gear of 2024 is? Come on. My number 1, I'm honored to say this. My number 1 is my signature 30-inch Cerberus Erebus XRC 6-string model. I have made several videos on these guitars and talked about them ever since I got them in late summer, early fall. So I'm not going to really necessarily spend too much time trying to convince you guys why these things are cool. I've got tons of content on them. And I think what's really amazing is these speak for themselves. So many people who have picked these up, everybody who's picked these up, has said how awesome and unique and cool these guitars are. And again, they speak for themselves. I said it a couple times on my channel, but real deal artists and guitar players are playing these things in front of massive crowds. Most notably, Kellen from Memphis Mayfire has been playing this on the last Memphis Mayfire tour, which is incredibly ironic because I'm going on tour with Memphis Mayfire in early 2025, right? So they speak for themselves. I know Adam from Architects also has one. Tell you guys a quick little story. I was at Guitar Center in Hollywood with Mike Stringer of Spirit Box after the Secret Spirit Box show, and he was telling me how Adam was showing him my guitar at Louder Than Life backstage. Like, what an amazing story and sentence in of itself. If I may just be very proud of myself for a second, I created something, I and Cerberus Guitars created something that didn't exist and that the market legitimately needed. 30-inch baritone guitars are incredibly niche and specific. I'm not naive to that. But there is no production line of guitars in the 30-inch baritone realm. They're either really, really expensive one-off made-to-measure custom shop guitars, like the one I made with Balaguer Guitars, for example, or they're really cheap and affordable, like the Squier baritone, like the Firefly that's over here, like the Harley Benton, etc. We were able to fill the gap with a production model, spec'd out guitar for less than $1,500, which is really hard to do in 2024. But thanks to Mike and Cerberus Guitars, they made it happen for myself and for all of you. And it was such a hit that they're completely sold out. What an amazing accomplishment. My first ever signature guitar is sold out, and it's incredibly niche and oddly specific, and yet they were still in high demand and they sold out. How sick is that, man? And last thing I'll say is these things are in such demand that we made a 7-string variant that was announced on my last video. So I'll put a link down below in the description of this video, as well as a pinned comment if you want to go get my 7-string variant. If you guys have seen me on tour, or if you guys have seen this channel, I've got the 7-string prototype. It's in the rig rundown with Premier Guitar when they interviewed me. We're putting that guitar into production as well. So, all that encompassing, man, I'm so proud of what we have accomplished this year. We created something that is just not a run-of-the-mill guitar. It's unique, it's different, it's special, and it's highly sought after and in demand. And like I said, man, they speak for themselves. Real players are gigging with these, whether it's at the local scene or in front of massive crowds or anywhere in between. Players are playing these live. I've seen a lot of you guys play these live, myself included, obviously. And I'm really proud of it, man. So yeah, my number one piece of gear of the year is my signature 6-string baritone. So everybody, that's my gear list for 2024. What do you guys think of my thoughts and opinions? Leave them down below. So last thing I'll say, and then I'll get out of here. Be sure to support me in any and every which way. I am continuing to push myself. I'm going to continue to grow and continue to just create and seeing how far I can push myself, my channel, my career, okay? So support me in any and every which way. New album. Follow me on any sort of streaming service platform. Subscribe to the channel. Go buy a signature guitar if you want to check them out. They're awesome. Anything and everything in between. Follow me on any sort of social media platform, etc. I really sincerely appreciate you guys, and I love you guys, all right? With that being said, thank you so much for a great year in terms of gear. We've got a whole nother month to go before 2024 is over, and it's going to be a great one. I can't wait to share with you all what I've got in store for you. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the video very, very soon. Later.